sister, mommy, tummy. Baby sister, mommy, tummy.
Baby sister and mommy's tummy.
Baby sister, mommy, tummy.
Yeah.
Sister, mommy, tummy.
You are so sweet. You are so sweet.
Big hug.
Big hug. Yeah. Can you give her a hug and a pat? Oh, that's nice. Oh. My goodness. You're excited to meet baby sister?
Hey, baby sister, mommy,
Yeah, she can hear your voice.
Baby sister, mommy, tummy. Baby sister, mommy, tummy.
You're so sweet.
Baby sister, baby sister.
Oh,
Baby sister, mommy, tummy.
that's right. Can you sing to her?
Go.
Can you sing her a
Yep.
song?
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Baby
That's your
sister,
sweet.
mommy, tummy.
And welcome to my week 33 update. Oh my gosh, was that intro not the sweetest intro? Okay, I know I'm biased, but Alex has been so sweet around me lately in my belly. We've been talking a lot about how there's baby sister in mommy's tummy, and so he's been saying that so much lately, and he comes up and he rubs my belly and he says, baby sister in mommy's tummy, baby sister in mommy's tummy, and hugs me and kisses my belly and rubs my belly very gently, snuggles up to my belly. It's just so sweet, I can't even stand it. He even started singing her Twinkle Twinkle one time. It was so sweet. And so it's just really making me wonder how much Alex understands what's going on. You know, he's almost 2. He'll be 2 in a month. We've talked about this so much, and and he's a bright little kid, and so I just wonder, so there's so much that kids understand before they even express that they understand it, so I have this feeling that he knows what's going on and that he understands. We've read the book with him, we've talked about it a lot. And I just have this feeling he understands the general idea that there is a baby in mommy's tummy. So it's just been so sweet to watch him, and I really think that this is going to be an indicator of how good of a big brother he's going to be, like the reaction that he had with the baby doll at Christmas and everything. So I'm just so excited to see him as a big brother. It's going to be awesome. So, biggest update this week is I went to the midwife. I'll put in a little bit of footage right here of my trip to the midwife. It's one of the beautiful birthing rooms at the birth center. I'll probably be in the other one, but this is really beautiful. Look at those high ceilings. So pretty.
Okay.
So pretty. What do you think? Do you like it here? Go see the big bathtub.
Big bathtub.
It's a big bathtub, isn't it? Yeah, mommy's gonna have baby sister in a big bathtub like that. What do you think? Would you have fun in a bath that big?
Big.
Yeah.
Big bathtub.
Yeah. That is one big bathtub, huh? Are you exploring? So many things to look at in here. So as you can see, I give you a little tour of one of the birthing rooms at the birth center there, and they're just really nice suites that they have there. I'm really looking forward to giving birth in one of those rooms with the awesome birthing tubs that they have that are like made just for birth, and they're like contoured and everything. My midwife appointment last week, I got there and they're like, yeah, we just had 4 births in the last 18 hours. I was like, oh, good grief. And so they've been really busy lately. And so the receptionist told me that they were running a half an hour late. And I was like, oh, well, we'll see how this goes with having a 2-year-old in tow with me. Usually I have him stay home with my mom, but she and my dad are on vacation right now. So I got him with me for all of my appointments and everything right now. But they're so kid oriented there. They have toys, they have books, you know. But actually, Alex was just more interested in running around in the birthing room there. It ended up being a really good midwife appointment. And good news! Baby girl has turned head down. Woohoo! I'm so excited. And I'm just hoping that she has stayed that way. The midwife did her palpation and felt my belly, and she said, oh yeah, I can feel her head down and your pelvis. So I was like, oh, thank you, God. So as of last Wednesday, she was head down. And I have felt a lot of movement since then, and I'm just hoping that she didn't flip back again. And I know this is just my irrational worry and everything. And I know that most commonly once baby has turned down, they tend to stay that way because there's not very much room for them to move around after that. They start to engage in the pelvis. But I'm still worrying about it. I feel a lot of kicks high up and down low, and so I'm trying to decipher at this point which are leg kicks and which are like arm kicks, you know what I mean? Since she's getting so much bigger, it's getting a little harder to tell, and since her legs are so squished, I don't know if she can kick quite as hard as she was before, so, but I do think that I think she is still head down, so if y'all are the praying type, I really appreciate prayers that baby girl stays in this head down position, so that's what we're praying for. So that was really encouraging for me to just have that knowledge. It gives me so much peace of mind. And it makes me feel like we are full steam ahead for having my natural vaginal birth. So other good news, it was just a really good appointment all around. She gave me all of the results from all the testing that I had done. So the gestational diabetes test, I know that I didn't have it because they never called me, and that, you know, no news is good news. And so, but she gave me the numbers and she said, yep, you are like totally in the clear for gestational diabetes. I honestly would have been really surprised if I had it, but she said I'm actually kind of a little in the opposite direction, that I was slightly hypoglycemic. And she's like, do you get lightheaded really easily? I'm like, yes. This is something I've always dealt with. You know, when I get hungry, I get hangry. And not just hangry, but I get like lightheaded, like this feeling like really low blood sugar kind of feeling. And so that's not that surprising, and she said that that is nothing to be concerned about in pregnancy, you know, obviously because I'm eating when I'm hungry, so it's not even an issue. When she was also palpating my belly, she could really tell that my fluid levels were really good in there just by feeling. I'm guessing that it just is kind of a feeling like squeezing a water balloon or something. You can tell, you know, how much fluid is in there, and she said that the fluid level felt really good. So I'm like, yes, that's really good, that after all the sickness a few weeks ago, that it seems like my hydration is back up to snuff now, so I'm really happy about that as well. That's probably one of the things that helped baby girl turn too, was getting enough fluid in there for her to do so. And the other good news that she reported back from my ultrasound was that you know, at my previous ultrasound, they were a little bit concerned about a placenta previa, you know, the placenta partly covering the cervix, and since then, that was like way back at 20-some odd weeks, but it's like way out of the way now. And so that is good to know as well. It is like, you know, it's not even anywhere near the cervix now, and they said that's normally what happens. It normally moves out of the way, so in the clear for that as well. I still have as much of an anterior placenta as you can possibly have. They showed me at my ultrasound that it's basically just like the very front, like it's taking up the very entire front of my belly, with like my belly button smack in the middle of it. So yeah, still have that anterior placenta, and that placenta is really big now. That is what it is, nothing to worry about there. Really interesting conversation with my midwife about weight gain, because she asked what my weight gain was at that point. And as of last Wednesday, it was whatever it was I said it was last week, 39 pounds that I had gained. She said, oh, your textbook. Like, that is totally normal. And she started giving me her whole philosophy on it. I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad I'm going to a midwife. Since I'm the type that tends to gain around 50 pounds when I get pregnant, like, it was just so refreshing to hear her saying these things. Basically what she was saying was that the amount of weight that each woman gains varies so widely from woman to woman. This obsession that the OB world has with the 25 to 35 pounds is really narrow, and they probably just say that so that women don't think it's a free pass to just completely go berserk and pig out and just completely let yourself go. Which makes sense, because you don't want to do that. But she said that, you know, even among most of the women that she sees who eat really healthy, the weight gain varies so much. Like, some women gain 20 pounds, some women gain 70 pounds. She's seen that too. She said she even had one patient who, like, ate horribly her first pregnancy and gained 70 pounds, like ate fast food and candy and pop and all of that and gained 70 pounds. And then she's like, for her second one, she like convinced herself she was going to clean up her act and eat clean, and did really well, like switched to a vegetarian diet even, and she still gained 70 pounds. And so I'm like, this just gives me so much peace of mind, because that's what I felt like no matter what I have done. Like, I ate differently in my last pregnancy than I am now. I feel like I'm eating a lot more healthy now, and I still seem to be gaining, I'm gaining a little less, but it's going to be about the same when all is said and done, I think. And she said that that often doesn't necessarily, I mean, unless you have gestational diabetes, like, the amount of weight you gain doesn't necessarily even affect the size of baby. She's seen all across the map with that as well. She has seen women, you know, the women who gain 20 pounds deliver 12-pound babies. And she's also seen, like, you know, the women who gain like 50, 60, 70 pounds deliver like 6-pound babies. So that's not necessarily a correlation with that either. She was telling me that really what's most important is that you are eating well, you are exercising, and if you are doing those things, your baby will gain just the right amount that baby needs to gain, and your body will gain what it needs to gain to support baby. And she says that that's all they care about. You know, the average weight gain of the women they see is about 45 pounds. Like, that's the average, and it varies on both ends from there. That's kind of like the median, you know. Anyway, I love the midwife outlook. I love that they're not like cracking the whip and like putting guilt trips on moms, you know, especially when you are doing a good job with your diet and exercise and everything. She just gave me so much peace of mind about that she's like, you are doing the right thing, you are looking so healthy, your weight gain is right on track, not worried about you at all. I was like, thank you. Anyway, that said, since my last update, I actually didn't gain anything most of the week. And then suddenly I gained 3 pounds again. So that's about where I am now. So I'm up a total of about 42 pounds now at 33 weeks. So, and I was up 47 pounds in my last pregnancy. So it seems to be about the trend that I'm following right now. So other good news this week is I finally made an appointment to go to the chiropractor. You know, I had mentioned a couple weeks back that I had gone on this Facebook group that's for local moms in the area I live in, and had asked if there was a good chiropractor in our area that does that works with pregnant women and does specifically the Webster technique, which helps with baby's positioning and everything. And I got so many recommendations for this one place, and so I finally called and made an appointment. And this Monday I went, and I was really impressed. Like, I have had a couple of bad chiropractic experiences, but this one was just so way better than both of those experiences. She was very gentle. The people there were really friendly, that were doing all my intake and everything. And the other thing that I really liked about it, and this had been a big worry of mine, is how am I going to go in for my appointments when I have a 2-year-old son? Like, because they often want you to come in, you know, 2 or 3 times a week at the beginning. And that's really difficult for me to find childcare that frequently. And so I asked about that, and I saw as I walked in that they have this, it's like a very open layout, and they have the 2 chiropractic adjustment tables like right in the center, so it's public, but there's like a little child area right next to it and some couches and stuff around it, and there's usually only 1 or 2 people there at a time. And I was like, oh, this is genius, like I can bring Alex with me, and granted it's probably germ city there, but what can I do? So I can bring him with me and he can play with the toys while I have my 10-minute adjustment whenever I go in. And they're flexible with time. So let's be real, guys. I am not the most punctual person. That is especially true after I've had kids. It is just so hard for me to get anywhere on time. When it's just me, it's a lot easier, but you know, when you have to work around toddler schedule and making sure that it's fed and changed and, you know, working between naps and meals and oh my gosh, and getting out the door is just this like monumental effort. And so the reason I bring this up is that is another thing that I am absolutely loving about this chiropractor. They are like really flexible with time. I mean, within reason. She wanted me to come in, actually I'm going to be going in tomorrow for a follow-up appointment, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, just come in whenever it works with your son's schedule. You know, you can just say between 11 and 11:30. I'm like, oh, that's so nice, because you know I can aim for 11, and if I get there at 11:15, they're totally cool with that. I'm like, oh man, a lot of medical places is like, if you are not there right on the dot, like you are charged a late fee. You know, granted, I am all about like staying within reason and, you know, not like being totally completely late and everything, but it's just nice to have that little bit of grace period, especially when I have a kid with me. So I really like that about their office too. It's just totally family friendly, just totally family friendly. They're flexible, and I really liked the chiropractor. So anyway, and the great news about my adjustment was that it did wonders for me. I was amazed. Like, I have had so many chiropractic adjustments where I just felt even more sore afterwards. I had one chiropractor who, you know, there's this really stubborn spot in my back. He would try to adjust it and it wouldn't go. He'd try to do it again and he would do it like harder and harder each time, and it was painful. And I didn't like how much force he was using, and sometimes it just would never adjust, even with all of this force he was using. So I didn't feel like she was doing that with me at all. It was very gentle. I mean, it's still an adjustment, but it felt very caring, very nurturing, very gentle. And so I left my appointment feeling great. I went for a walk that afternoon afterwards, and I could not believe it. I didn't realize how much hip pain I had until it wasn't there. You know what I mean? It's like you don't know what you got till it's gone, you know? But I went for a solid half-hour walk, and I almost felt like I wasn't pregnant. It was amazing. Like, I was walking with no hip pain. I didn't feel like I was shuffling like an old person like I have been for the last few weeks, you know? I just felt like my hips were flowing and moving, and I was able to actually walk briskly without pain. And I had just, you know, before I was like, well, this is just how it is in pregnancy. I just better get used to it. But I couldn't believe how much better I felt. I was like, oh, it doesn't have to be that way. So that was awesome. I'm so glad I finally made the whole chiropractic thing happen. And I will probably be doing that from here until the end of my pregnancy. She did do some of the Webster technique. Even though baby girl is head down, she said it doesn't do anything to like flip her back if she is head down already, but it just really helps open up the pelvis and make space for baby to be in good position for birth. And just a few small things to add in terms of symptoms and pregnancy related things. Let's start with the TMI, shall we? So if you are watching and you are not a fan of TMI, then well, you are watching a pregnancy update, so what do you expect? But if you're not into TMI, then go ahead and skip on ahead. But this is actually something that started happening a few weeks ago. It's like my nipples are getting like so dark and huge, and I know this is like totally normal. It happened the last time I was pregnant as well, but it's just like sometimes it's like I step out of the shower and look in the mirror, I'm like, whoa. The girls are definitely getting ready to feed a baby. And the other TMI thing, I know this is like really TMI, but just definitely getting like discomfort and swelling in my nether regions, if you know what I mean. Sometimes to the point where it's like uncomfortable to sit, you know? It's like I've had like the whole hemorrhoid problem for most of this pregnancy, just mildly, but it feels like that all over, if you know what I mean. Dealing with that, I thought I should throw that in there. I know it's TMI, but trying to keep these pregnancy updates really real, you know? And so that's definitely one thing that I've been pretty consistently dealing with the last couple weeks, and especially this last week. And I talked to the midwife about that, and she says that that is like a totally normal pregnancy discomfort, like just because there's so much extra blood flow and everything and pressure from baby and everything, that's just a totally normal thing. So as for less TMI stuff, I am just continuing to have the weirdest dreams. I mean, I only get dreams like this when I'm pregnant. Or the one other time I can remember having dreams as weird as these was when I was sick with the flu or whatever it was, and I had a cough so bad that they gave me this like, it was like a cough syrup with, it was like with hydrocodone in it or something crazy like that, and I remember it gave me these like hallucinogenic dreams. It was like a weird drug trip, and I only took it that one time, and I was like, never again. Let me give you an example. Like it's almost like Hollywood surreal, like otherworldly type dreams. It's like what you would see in a weird like horror movie. Not even horror, but just like, you know, really strange stuff. But just to give you an example, like I had this dream once that I was right by this river, and Bill was with me, and we were standing there. We're trying to figure out how to get across this. Like it was like a small creek or river, and I turned around, and Bill is sitting on a giraffe. Yes, a giraffe, and not only any giraffe. Are you familiar with Salvador Dali, the artist, like the Spanish artist? It was like a giraffe from a Salvador Dali painting. I'll put in an example of what I mean. I don't know if there are any Dali paintings of giraffes in particular, but like I envisioned these like elephants with the really long legs. And it's just like really weird and surreal. It was just like this, but just like that, but it was a giraffe. And Bill was riding the giraffe, and that is how we crossed the river. Like, I'm having crazy, weird, surreal dreams like that all the time, every night, when I nap, at night, all the time. Like, it's crazy. It is so weird what these hormones do to your brain. It is just something else. This seriously must be what it's like to be on a drug trip. Having never done drugs, I don't know exactly what that would be like, but I imagine that these like strange, surreal, hallucinogenic type dreams that I'm having must be like what it's like to be on drugs. Like, it's so weird. Aside from crazy pregnancy dreams, just some small little symptoms. I am, you know, I don't mention this one very often because it's just so normal to me now, but I'm out of breath all the time. And that's been pretty consistent, like most of this pregnancy. And like, as I'm getting later and later, it's like even more so. Like, see, I'm like out of breath right now, even just talking, it's ridiculous. I go up the stairs and it's like, I run a marathon. It's ridiculous. I'm still dealing with that. It's pretty consistent. Sadly, I am getting more stretch marks this week on my belly, and they're all really down low, like way down below my belly button. And it's not a lot of them, and they are small, but there are just like a handful of them right across my low belly now. So sad. I thought that I was going to get by without any stretch marks on my belly, but I am getting just a few little tiny ones. So I'm like really upping the ante with the moisturizing. I like put lotion on, and then I put coconut oil on and just like slather it on there now. Sometimes I'll do it a few times a day, and not that that's necessarily going to make that much of a difference, but you know, figure I'll do what I can do. And I do have a few new ones on my hips. I can't tell if they're new or if they're just darkening old ones. But they are showing up a little bit more on my hips now as well. So in terms of swelling, I am still getting kinkles, but like they're not, you know, Bill often will like rub my ankles to get the blood flowing, and he was noting, you know, your ankles really don't seem nearly as bad as they were last pregnancy. And I was like, I think you're right. I really don't seem to be swelling up nearly as much as I did when I was pregnant with Alex. So even though this has been a more difficult pregnancy, I'm glad that there's one thing that is easier for me this time. And I do still have a little bit of the swelling though. And it does really help to just drink a lot of water and have Bill do this like sweeping. As a massage therapist, it's a stroke that we call draining, where you like go up the ankles like this and drain the blood up to the heart. So that really helps too. And if I do feel like they are starting to sweat, like if I've been on my feet a lot in a day, you know, putting my feet up helps as well, obviously. So the last thing is I pulled out my maternity belt this week. I'll put in a picture here. But yeah, like one of these things that just like supports the weight of your belly. And I was like, I really need to pull this out because I am just feeling so much strain on my abdominals. I can't believe I didn't pull it out before now because it is so helpful. I put this thing on, especially when I go for walks now, and I feel like I can last so much longer because my abs don't feel that like strain that they normally do. Like even after I've been standing just for a short period of time, like even if I'm going to stand and wash the dishes or, you know, do something where I'm standing for an extended period of time, I put this thing on and oh my gosh, it helps so much. And as a side thing, it ends up helping my hips a little bit and my back a little bit as well because that weight is a little bit better supported. And so that's awesome. If you guys are pregnant and are experiencing that strain from all that extra belly in the front, highly recommend trying one of these things. It is so worth the money. And this is just one that I had left over from my last pregnancy. So the thing is excellent support. Bill's like, it's like a little hammock for your belly. I'm like, that's exactly what it's like. So that's it for this week, you guys. Let me show you a belly shot. All right, here is the week 33 belly. I'm actually really enjoying this belly phase. I feel like I actually enjoy having it like this big and round where it's like everyone's like, oh yes, so obviously pregnant. And I just love the roundness, you know. So there it is. Hope you guys have a great week, and if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button, and if you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to do so down below, and I will see you next time. Bye.